Divorce papers signed by billionaire boss. Then she revealed a hidden, life-changing secret. Jenna's heart raced as she held the crisp letter in her trembling hands. This wasn't just any envelope, it was a final nail in a coffin she'd tried to keep closed. The words divorce papers signed echoed in her mind like a relentless drumbeat. She remembered the life she'd built with her husband, who now basked in power and wealth, while she crafted burgers and poured coffee at the local diner. Affectionate laughter once filled their home. Now, tears threatened to spill as she thought about what was lost. But the emotional whirlpool wasn't her only fight. As a waitress and a single mom to 2 little ones, Jenna found herself juggling bills that seemed to pile higher than the diner's famous pancake stack. Her infectious laugh could lighten heavy hearts at work, yet inside, she felt like a ghost drifting through the motions. The memory of her father, a proud veteran who taught her resilience, pushed her to hold on to her dreams of becoming a nurse, dreams that felt more distant with each day. Then, buried beneath layers of dust in a forgotten corner, Jenna discovered her father's old laptop. It was a relic of a simpler time, but as she flipped it open, the screen blinked to life, illuminating hidden memories and unfinished projects. With each click, Jenna uncovered a maze of logic and creativity that filled her with a sense of purpose she hadn't felt in years. It was as if the laptop was whispering her father's words back to her, urging her to tap into her untapped potential. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As she dove into coding, excitement surged through her veins, often mixed with fear. The community revered her as the local gal who never made a fuss, a beloved waitress in the diner full of regulars. Would they even understand? That question churned like a storm cloud in her mind. Yet whispers of her project started to spread, igniting conversations over coffee cups at the diner. Whispers bloomed into support. Encouragement flooded in, and suddenly, the town started to recognize her ambition. But her husband's shadow flickered in her thoughts, reminding her of the suffocating expectations he had for her. He was a man who thrived in tech, a manipulation of those around him, and now, he wanted to dismiss her ambitions with a flick of his wrist, a stern face, and maybe a few $1,000s to stifle her dreams. And then came the defining moment. In an emotionally charged confrontation, Jenna presented her software project to him, her voice trembling but fiery. The stakes were high, and she could almost feel her father's spirit pushing her forward. Just when it seemed like she was gaining ground, a shocking family secret was revealed, whispers that left her breathless. Would this revelation dismantle her hard-earned progress, or could it be the catalyst she needed to truly step into her own? Jenna stood at the edge of change, but what awaited her on the other side? Anxiety and hope danced within her. At that moment, she felt poised to redefine who she was meant to be. Jenna's mind raced, circling back to the moment when her husband dropped the bombshell. His cool, indifferent demeanor contrasted starkly with the chaos of emotions swirling inside her. She had expected him to dismiss her dreams as trivial, but she never anticipated the full weight of his revelation. A secret that trembled on the edge of her understanding, unraveling strings of her past that she thought were tucked away for good. Feeling her breath hitch, Jenna stepped away from the confrontation, needing space to gather her thoughts. Outside, the air was crisp, almost electric. Her heart pounded louder than the din of the diner's kitchen behind her. Each breath felt like a reminder of the weight she carried, of being a mother, of fighting for a better future. The sidewalk crackled beneath her shoes as she wandered toward the park. Children's laughter rang like bells around her, twinkling memories of her own little ones swinging and playing without a care in their world. She pulled her hoodie tighter around her, the images drawing her back to the dreams she had for them, dreams that somehow felt more impossible after today. In a moment of solitude, she closed her eyes and asked herself what her father would say. The guiding voice from her past cascaded through her mind, "You're stronger than you know." His words were stitched into her heart like a comforting patchwork. Jenna breathed in deeply, desperate to absorb his strength. But how could she face this new reality? Was the revelation of her husband's familial ties to a tech giant an opportunity or a trap? She could feel the shadows of betrayal creeping in, taunting her with visions of her husband manipulating everything she was trying to build, all to secure his dominance. Then she remembered the laptop, her forgotten refuge. What had once felt like a dusty relic now seemed like a lifeline. If she dove headfirst into her coding endeavors, perhaps she could create something that not only defined her identity but brought forth something revolutionary. As she focused on the images of success, her heartbeat quickened with new purpose. Determined to conquer her fears, she turned around, ready to confront the challenge head-on. The diner awaited with its collection of regulars who were beginning to notice her fervor for more. They would stand behind her, she could feel it. That sense of community spurred her on, lifting her spirits higher. Back at the diner, Jenna glanced at the clock above the counter as the familiar faces of her customers floated in and out of the kitchen. She exchanged quick hellos, her heart swelling with gratitude for these people who would soon witness her transformation. It was time to channel all that encouragement into her software project. As the day wore on and the last cup of coffee was filled, Jenna sat down with the flickering laptop. Fingers hovering above the keyboard, she felt an exhilarating thrill ripple through her. This was her moment. Ideas flowed as she typed, lines of code unfurling like the petals of a flower about to bloom. But even amidst the exhilaration, that nagging question lingered: what would her husband do when he discovered she was ready to build something of her own? With the sun setting and the world bathed in golden light outside the diner, Jenna realized she was on the precipice of something immense. She had a chance to redefine not just her future but also the legacy she wanted to leave for her children. But as she pressed send on her first project proposal, uncertainty coiled in her stomach. Was this truly the beginning of her new chapter, or just another layer of struggle yet to unfold? The answer lurked just beyond reach. Would she uncover more secrets that would either break her or set her free? Jenna's fingers paused over the keyboard, the bright screen reflecting the turmoil in her heart. She had pressed send, but now there was an ache pulled tight in her chest. Uncertainty felt heavier than before, wrapping around her with an iron grip. Whispers from the back of her mind swirled in a frenzied dance, overlapping with the click-clack of the diner's old-fashioned register. What would happen when Jack found out? Would he support her, or would he see her pursuit as a threat? A whirlwind of doubt spun through her, each thought more oppressive than the last. With a deep breath, she decided to step outside for a moment. Maybe the fresh air would clear her mind, help her refocus. The minute she crossed the threshold, she was met with the cool breeze that nipped at her cheeks, a reminder that the world still thrummed outside of her fears. As she sat on one of the worn benches in the park, she pulled out her phone, heart racing at the idea of sharing her news. Should she tell her closest friend, Sarah? Who else would understand the weight of this moment? She tapped a message, her fingers hovering over the screen, and then suddenly stopped. What if Sarah's encouragement only served to amplify her anxiety? Instead, she took a moment to watch the sunset. The sky painted in shades of pink and orange, so vibrant and alive, it struck a contrast against her dread. Nature didn't hesitate to show its colors. So why should she? Jenna closed her eyes, offering herself a silent affirmation: she would choose courage, no matter the outcome. Returning to the diner, Jenna felt the familiar warmth envelop her as she stepped inside. The scent of coffee and freshly baked pie wafted through the air, blending with laughter and chatter from customers. This was her sanctuary, filled with friends who had become her family. "Hey, Jenna!" One of her regulars shouted, a wide smile stretched across his face. "Can you believe the weather today? Beautiful, isn't it?" She replied, forcing a smile. Each heartfelt exchange wrapped around her like a comforting quilt, easing her troubled thoughts, if only just a bit. A bell jingled as Jack walked through the door, a sight that struck her chest hollow. He spotted her instantly, a calculating gaze sweeping across her figure, lingering longer than usual. Jenna's stomach dropped. Would he sense her ambition? Would he crush her spirit like a bug beneath his thumb? He joined her at the counter, and she could feel the weight of his presence. Questions loomed like storm clouds overhead. Should she show him the proposal? His eyes narrowed, reading every flutter of her expression. You okay? He asked, his tone treading the line between concern and irritation. Jenna hesitated. Could she trust him with her newfound aspirations? Yeah. Just thinking, she replied, desperately searching for the right words. Jack's expression softened slightly, but she sensed the walls around him building. What's on your mind? She took a deep breath, the moment of truth fast approaching. Should she share her plan now, or wait for a better time? I've been working on something, she whispered, the trembling hope in her voice tugging gently at the edge of fear. Jack's eyes sharpened, and she felt like she was walking a precarious tightrope. What kind of something? He pressed, curiosity piqued but tinged with bitterness from their last confrontation. At that moment, Jenna realized this wasn't just about her coding project. It was about trust, and her heart raced with the realization that this could either pull them together or tear them apart. As the silence stretched between them, Jenna felt the world hold its breath. Would she find the courage to share her dreams, or would fear keep her quiet? The answer tangled in confusion, and hope flickered like a candle's flame, fighting against the darkness. And as the last rays of the sun dipped below the horizon, she wondered, was this the turning point for both her dreams and their marriage, or merely the beginning of an unending struggle? In that pivotal moment, Jenna braced for what lay ahead. Jenna swallowed, the words clinging to her throat like a stubborn burn. Jack's expression lay veiled, masking the reactions she desperately sought. She felt like a marionette, controlled by strings of anxiety and anticipation. I've been working on a tech project, she started, her voice barely more than a whisper, urging herself to push through the walls she had built around her dreams. It was now or never. Jack's brow furrowed, but she could see flickers of interest peeking through the clouds of tension. A tech project? He echoed, as if weighing each word. What kind of project? She hesitated, glancing around the diner, feeling dozens of eyes on her, even though she knew it was just her imagination. A startup idea, she finally said, her heart racing. An app that helps small businesses manage their inventory more efficiently, and I've sent the proposal to a few investors. The silence that followed was deafening. The laughter of the diner patrons faded into white noise, and Jenna's pulse quickened as Jack's gaze intensified. She held her breath, processing the myriad of emotions flashing across his face: confusion, annoyance, curiosity, and perhaps a glimmer of pride. And what do you expect to happen with this project? His voice was low, but there was an edge beneath it that sent a chill down her spine. I hope to get funding, to build something that makes a difference. I want to be proud of my work, Jenna replied, her voice gaining strength, every word tinged with the fear of rejection but fueled by an ember of hope. Jack stared at her, his jaw tightening, and she could see the cogs turning behind his cool exterior. You think this is a good time for something like that? He said, his tone sharp. With everything going on between us? The question hung heavily in the air, and suddenly, Jenna felt like the room was spinning. The weight of their marital troubles wrapped around her like a vice, squeezing tight. I can't put my life on hold just because we're struggling, she shot back, the words emerging hotter than she intended. I want to build my future, Jack. Build your future? What about us? His voice had taken on a desperate somberness, and she could sense the walls he had meticulously crafted shifting just a bit. There was vulnerability laced in his words, a plea hidden beneath the anger. She opened her mouth to respond but hesitated, her heart pounding fiercely. It was easy to focus on the tension, their separate dreams hanging like an unspoken truth between them. "You don't see it, do you?" she asked, her eyes locking onto his. "Being successful professionally, personally, it doesn't have to be one or the other. We can support each other." But Jack's expression shifted again, his brows furrowing further as reality seeped back into the room. Support each other, if only it was that easy. Jenna didn't want to think of the time they had spent fighting for their relationship. Instead, she yearned for him to stand strong beside her, rooting for her like he had once done when they first started their journey together. "I know we have problems, but this is a chance for me to express who I am. Please, let me be heard." His gaze softened slightly, as if a dam was slowly breaking beneath the surface. "You really think this will change everything?" The question hung in the air, stitched with uncertainty. "I need to try to find out what this means for me." Jack looked away then, his fingers tapping nervously on the countertop. A moment stretched, thick with unsaid things and raw emotion. And just as Jenna thought she might buckle under the weight of his indecision, he turned back, searching her eyes. Maybe I can help. You should have let me know earlier." A flicker of hope ignited inside her. "What do you mean?" But before Jack could reply, a loud crash echoed from the kitchen, shattering the delicate moment. Employees rushed through the doorway, alarmed voices echoing in the busy space. "Is everyone okay?" Jenna called, glancing over at Jack, whose expression had shifted back to guarded determination. As they both stood, adrenaline pulsing through them, Jenna felt the truth linger unspoken. They were on the brink of a pivotal moment. But with the kitchen chaos unfolding, would they have the chance to navigate their own turmoil? Jenna took a deep, steadying breath, her emotions swirling with equal parts hope and dread, knowing the storm was far from over. What would they discover amidst the upheaval? Would the hidden truth bring them closer or tear them apart entirely? The kitchen chaos hung like an unwelcome fog over the diner. Plates clattered and patrons murmured uneasily as Jenna's heart thrummed a frantic rhythm. She glanced at Jack, his eyes now sharp and focused, the remnants of their conversation slipping into the background. "I should go check," he said, pushing away from the table abruptly. She barely had time to nod before he vanished into the crowd, abruptly switching from supporter to protector. The urgency was palpable, but Jenna's mind lingered on the unspoken connections between them. Alone, she took a moment to collect herself, her fingers curling tightly around her coffee cup, noticing how small it felt in her hands. She could hear snippets of conversation from nearby tables, people discussing work, life, their own dreams. Each word echoed Jenna's earlier revelations, a reminder that she was standing on the precipice of something huge. The diner's neon lights buzzed faintly, and for a moment, everything faded away but her thoughts. What had made her so afraid? Their past, so fraught with disagreements, weighed heavily on her heart. Yet the dream whispering in her ear urged her forward. She wanted to break free, to blossom beyond what life had bounded her into. Jack returned with his brows still furrowed, he was breathing heavily, adrenaline still coursing as the noise from the kitchen quieted. "Everything's fine," he said, but the edge in his voice told her that things were anything but fine. "I just need you to be with me." "Just for a moment," Jenna said, meeting his gaze fiercely. Emotions were swirling raw inside her, and she needed his reassurance more than ever. But Jack's face closed off, pulling back into the shell she dreaded. He leaned back slightly, rubbing the back of his neck. "I'm here, but if we're going to do this talk about your project, we have to be honest with each other. We have to lay everything out." "Honest?" The word rang heavy, electrifying the air between them. She wanted to bring everything to the surface, to peel back the layers of hurt and confusion, but the fear of opening old wounds loomed. What if this was too powerful? Too raw? "Okay," she whispered. "Let us lay it out. I'll start." The words tumbled out before she could catch them. "I'm scared, Jack." Scared that if I reach for my dreams and it doesn't work out, then what will we be left with? Scared of how much I need your support. His expression softened slightly, although uncertainty still clouded his eyes. I am scared too, Jenna. Scared of losing you to your dreams or losing myself in the process of trying to hold on to you. We've spent so long trying to avoid the real issues. They stood in silence, the din around them fading into a muted backdrop as they took a courageous step toward each other. I don't want to lose what we have, she admitted, her voice cracking. But I can't ignore this opportunity. Jack let out a slow breath, the tension in his shoulders easing just a fraction. Then let us make it work. But we need to be open. Maybe start with what's really bothering us. The fears. The doubts. The sincerity in his voice ignited something deep inside her, a flicker of gratitude, a promise of unity. But before she could dive deeper, Jack's phone buzzed on the table, the sound slicing through the moment. He glanced down, his expression shifting as he read a message. Who is it? Jenna asked, a hint of worry threading through her words. Just my assistant, he replied, but a shadow crossed his features that sent her heart racing. But it's about the investors. Her stomach plummeted. What do they want? Jack swallowed hard, looking torn. They want a meeting. Soon. And they're going to have questions about you. The weight of the truth suddenly felt suffocating. Jenna could sense the stakes rising, the tension lingering between belief and fear. One meeting could change everything, her future, their future. I have to prepare, she said, unaware of the resolve she was conjuring. Life was shifting again, just as she had hoped, but the uncertainty clung like an invisible shroud. What if they don't like what they hear? Jack pressed, concern etched in his features. What if I don't like what I hear? Jenna countered, her heart thumping wildly. But I have to find out. For both of us. Would they emerge from this stronger, or would the weight of truth send them spiraling apart? Fear tightened its grasp, but Jenna's heart surged with a newfound determination. She was ready for whatever came next. Would this tumultuous meeting seal their fates, or would it be the first step toward a future they both craved? As they stood on the brink of the unknown, a question hung unvoiced between them: how much were they willing to risk to chase their dreams? Jenna's mind raced as she internalized Jack's words. The gravity of the upcoming meeting loomed larger as she thought about the implications. Could this be the moment everything either fell into place or shattered into irreparable pieces? Let us not waste time, Jack said, breaking her thoughts with a firm nod. We should gather everything we can about the project. The pitch, the data, everything. She took a deep breath, trying to draw strength from his resolve, but fear still coiled tightly in her chest. Both of them were standing at a crossroads, where personal feelings and professional aspirations intersected. What are they even going to ask? She murmured, pushing her hair back with shaking fingers. The usual. They want to know how you see your project fitting into the bigger picture. Why it matters beyond the current trends, he explained, his tone steadying her doubt, even if just a little. Why it matters, she echoed quietly, her mind wandering back to the reasons she had poured her heart and soul into this dream. It matters because it's not just about the project anymore. It's about the people I want to help. They deserve a voice, a chance. Jack's green eyes locked onto hers, illuminating a flicker of understanding. Then let us make every word count. You're passionate. Show them that. As they shifted their focus to the laptop, Jenna felt a surge of adrenaline. The nervousness melted into determination as she revealed her research, statistics, and plans. The room hummed with unspoken tension, each number and chart blooming with potential. Look at this, she said, pointing at a graph showcasing the impact her project could have. If we get the funding, we could improve lives. Help families break free from cycles of poverty. Jack leaned closer, a brow raised. This is solid. Expand on these points during the meeting. They want to see how your vision isn't just a dream but a possible reality. Hours flew by as they prepared, their fingers tapping rhythmically on the keyboard, ideas bouncing back and forth like a game of catch. Every moment they spent collaborating felt like a step toward not only their futures but toward mounting a bridge of understanding between them. Just as Jenna started to feel the smallest remnants of confidence sink into her chest, Jack's phone buzzed again, jarring her back to reality. He picked it up, frowning at the screen before glancing at her, hesitation etched on his face. "What is it?" she asked, suddenly anxious. "It's from my assistant," his voice trailed off, eyes darting back to his phone. "They want to move the meeting up to tomorrow morning." Her stomach dropped. "Tomorrow? But we're not ready." "I know," Jack said, looking torn, "but we can't push back. They need answers and they need them now. What about us? What about how we're feeling?" Jenna shot back, a wave of frustration boiling over. "Do we just put that on hold? What if this meeting unearths everything we've been tiptoeing around? We'll face that when it comes. Right now, we have to focus." He paused, his own anxiety bubbling to the surface, but he quickly masked it. "You need to own your narrative, Jenna. Don't let them dictate how this meeting goes." A beat of silence passed. The intensity between them crackled as Jenna's earlier confidence waned. This wasn't just a professional milestone, it was the potential crumbling of everything they had built together. But what choice did she have? Dreams had to be chased, even if it meant navigating tangled emotions in the process. As they packed up for the night, Jenna's mind teeter-tottered between hope and dread. Jack watched her closely, but his eyes were unreadable. She could sense the weight of his internal struggles mingling with her own. Outside, the night felt heavy with stars, but Jenna couldn't enjoy their beauty. It was all about facing the unknown, and they were on the brink of a cliff. Either hope or despair awaited them at the bottom. "Jenna," Jack started, voice low. "I know this is a lot, but whatever happens tomorrow, we face it together. Whatever comes, I'm with you." The sincerity in his voice warmed her. Yet, even as her heart swelled with a glimmer of hope, a chilling realization settled in. What if this meeting did fracture the fragile bond they were forging? The very thought made her stomach churn. "I hope that's true," she whispered, feeling the enormity of what tomorrow could bring. As they parted ways for the night, uncertainty loomed over Jenna. The dreams she'd nurtured now felt like a ticking clock. Could she navigate through the storm they were about to face? Would their relationship survive the truth stripped bare in front of outsiders? Only time would tell. And tomorrow beckoned, pregnant with possibility and peril. What awaited them in that meeting could shift everything in the blink of an eye. Jenna woke early, the silver dawn spilling light through her window, bringing with it a fresh wave of anxiety. She flicked a glance at the clock and her heart skipped a beat. Time felt both fleeting and eternal. She had just a few hours to solidify her dream or watch it slip through her fingers. Rushing through her morning routine, her mind was a chaotic blend of thoughts. What if she forgot her key points? What if the room fell silent when she spoke? What if Jack's shadow loomed too large, suffocating her voice? She swallowed hard, brushing a hand through her hair, trying to project confidence into her reflection. When she arrived at the office, the atmosphere felt electric, buzzing with an undercurrent of stress and anticipation. Colleagues locked eyes with her, some nodding in support, others merely distracted by their own racing thoughts. Jenna felt an odd mixture of comfort and isolation in that moment. Her heart raced as she walked toward Jack's office, each step on the polished floor echoing like a drumbeat of impending fate. Jack looked up the moment she entered, his expression flickering from focused determination to something softer, more vulnerable. "Hey, Jenna," he greeted, his voice steady but warm. "You ready?" She managed a nod, though her mind was still grappling with the doubts swirling inside. "As ready as I'll ever be," she replied, trying to match his confidence. "Let us do a quick run-through," just in case, he suggested, and Jenna felt the pause hang between them, thick with unspoken words and emotions that threatened to claw their way to the surface. After the rehearsal, she felt the tension in her shoulders ease slightly. Jack's instincts were sharp, they had fine-tuned the flow, and now she understood her narrative like a familiar song. Yet, the lingering fear still ticked away in her chest. Could she speak her truth, or would the weight of their unacknowledged feelings drown her resolve? Jack leaned against his desk, watching her intently. "You've got this, Jenna. I believe in you." Her heart flipped at his words, the sincerity twinkling in his eyes. "Thank you, Jack. Really." The bond between them was undeniably deeper than mere project partners, but today wasn't the day to unravel that thread. Not at least until they knew the outcome of this meeting. "Let's take a moment," he suggested suddenly, glancing toward the door. "Can we just breathe for a second?" Jenna smiled softly, grateful for the moment of reprieve. They stepped outside, hearts pounding in tandem as they inhaled the crisp morning air. The reality of their situation danced just beyond reach. "Whatever happens," Jack said, his voice low, "we'll figure it out together, okay?" "Together," she echoed, trying to etch that word into her heart. Yet, that comfort was soon overshadowed by the chime of her phone, a reminder of the upcoming meeting. Back inside, the conference room felt like a battleground. A long table separated them from a group of stern faces, ready to judge her every word. Jack took a seat beside her, a steady rock amidst the brewing storm. As the presentation began, Jenna spoke from her heart, pouring out her vision for the project. She watched the faces around the table, their expressions shifting subtly with each point she made. A flicker of interest emerged here and there, but the remaining skepticism felt like a heavy weight pressing down. Then came the moment she dreaded: the questions. Each inquiry was a test of her resolve, a challenge to her passion. But she answered them, her voice growing stronger with every word, bolstered by Jack's unwavering presence. But then, an unexpected question rose from the table. "What makes you think you can handle this project with everything else going on in your life?" The room fell silent, a knife-sharp tension hanging in the air. Jenna's breath hitched. Everything inside her screamed to protect the vulnerability she had built up over the past few months, the emotions she had tucked away. But this was the moment to show her true self, to fight for what mattered. "I'm not just doing this for me," she heard herself say, the fire igniting within her. "I want to give voices to those who have none, and I have seen what our project can accomplish firsthand. This is bigger than all of us." The atmosphere shifted, eyes flickered, and even Jack leaned in, a proud glint in his gaze. In that moment, she grasped the very essence of her mission. It wasn't merely a project, it was a lifeline for others. But as the meeting droned on, another tension loomed. Jenna glanced sideways at Jack. His deep brow furrowed, the unease returning as if he caught a whiff of smoke in the air. After the meeting, the reality hit: whatever the outcome, they were on the verge of something transformative. But as they walked out, Jack hesitated, turning to face her with an intensity she had never seen. "Jenna," he started, voice trembling slightly. "There's something I need to tell you. Something that could change everything for us." Her heart raced again, this time with the chill of uncertainty. What secret had he been safeguarding? Would it bind them closer, or pull them apart? Jenna held her breath, taking a step closer, as anticipation and dread twisted together. What revelation lay ahead in the shadows of this moment? The words hung between them, thick and charged with unspoken possibilities. Jenna's heartbeat thudded in her ears. She couldn't decipher if Jack's nervousness was a reflection of his feelings or the hidden secret he was about to share. "Jenna," he started again, then hesitated, chewing on his lip. His usually confident demeanor faltered, and she could see the storm brewing behind his eyes. "Jack, just say it." Her tone was firmer than she felt. "You're scaring me." He took a deep breath, the air escaping him in a heavy sigh. "I've been meaning to tell you about my divorce. It's final now. I thought I was ready to move on, to focus on work, but his voice trailed off, uncertainty clouding his expression. And? Jenna pressed, her heart caught between elation and dread. The news was seismic, yet suddenly, it felt like a fragile thread that could either connect them or tear them apart. I didn't want to bring my baggage into this, he said, gesturing vaguely between them. But I realized that keeping it from you has made things worse. Jenna's throat tightened, a mix of empathy and vulnerability washing over her. Are you okay? Honestly? No. His fingers ran through his hair, an anxious tic she had come to recognize. I thought I had processed everything, but it's still raw. And I didn't want to affect this project or us. What happened between you and your wife? The question slipped out before she could stop it. Jenna felt the weight of his emotions, trapped in the space between them, both frightened and longing for a deeper connection. Everything. I lost myself for a long time and lost her in the process, he said softly, his eyes searching hers for understanding. But in the wreckage, I know what I want now. It's clear. You. Jenna's breath hitched at his words. The sheer honesty between them felt like an anchor, but it also laid bare the fragility of their situation. Jack, that's a lot to process. For both of us. I know it isn't fair to drop this on you. But I can't pretend anymore. His voice was earnest, each word a thread pulling them closer to an unexpected thread of intimacy. What I feel for you, there's something there. Her heart fluttered at his admission. This was what she had been longing to hear, yet it was tangled in the complexities of their realities. And what about your life before? Your marriage? It's all so fresh. I have to be honest with myself, he stated, stepping closer, a physical commitment she couldn't ignore. I don't want to go back to the past. I want to move forward with you. As he spoke, Jenna could feel the tremors of fear and hope collide within her. Did she dare to accept this truth? Could she truly embrace the idea of a future with him when everything felt so uncertain? His vulnerability ignited something inside her, a sense of possibility. Jack, I want to explore this, she managed to say, her heart racing. But we have to be careful. We can't rush it. He nodded, relief washing over his features. Careful, yes. But honest. Above everything else, we have to be honest. In that moment, everything shifted. The weight of their feelings hung in the air, promising both danger and hope. But what truth lay ahead for them? What threads would they untangle as they faced their past? Just as they embraced the possibility, Jenna's phone buzzed insistently in her pocket, breaking the spell between them. Pulling it out, her heart sank slightly. It was a message from HR, an update about the project and something she never expected. Jenna frowned, heart pounding against her chest. What now? Was this another challenge they had to face, or something that would change everything once again? Jenna? Jack's voice snapped her back to the moment. What is it? She looked up at him, heart heavy with what she had to share. It's a message about our project and there's something in it that doesn't feel right. He watched her, concern flooding his gaze. What do you mean? Is it bad news? No, it's more than that. Jenna took a deep breath, anxiety creeping in again. It's about funding and a potential conflict we weren't aware of. Something that could change everything. Jack's expression shifted, his focus sharpening on her words. Then we need to address it. Together. Together. The word echoed in her mind, mixing hope with trepidation. They had already faced so much, and now this? What complications lay ahead? As Jenna stared into Jack's earnest eyes, she understood that everything they had just shared was only the beginning. The twists ahead could still bring them closer or pull them apart. What more lay ahead in their intertwining paths? And could their budding connection withstand the storm of outside pressures threatening to break them? Jenna's pulse quickened as she read the email again, the words blurring and then sharpening in her mind. She could feel the tension crackling in the air around her like static. This wasn't just an update, it felt like an ultimatum. Jack took a step closer, his expression a mix of concern and curiosity. What does it say? She swallowed hard, choices piling up in an instant. The project's funding there's a chance it could fall through unless we resolve these conflicts. Jack's brows furrowed. What conflicts? What do they want? It's about the partnership. Apparently, there's a dispute about the project budget and our division, and we have to present a response by the end of the week, she said, feeling the weight of every word. He ran his hand over his face, frustration sparking in his eyes. This is what I was afraid of. We've poured everything into this project. How did we not see this coming? We were too focused on moving forward on us, Jenna admitted, guilt gnawing at her. We need a plan, he said decisively, his voice steady. Let us set up a meeting with the team. We can tackle it head-on. Jenna nodded, trying to suppress the rising tide of anxiety within her. But the timing, with everything else, it feels like too much. Hey. Jack placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, grounding her. We'll get through this together. We already have. The moment lingered, their eyes locked in a shared determination. Just as Jenna began to feel anchored by the connection they were forging, her phone buzzed again. She glanced down at it, her heart sinking further when she saw a notification from her mother. A reminder about the family gathering happening this weekend. Jack, she hesitated, a lump forming in her throat. I have to go to my family's gathering. It's important. Right. Family stuff. He looked momentarily distracted, his expression shifting as if piecing together new thoughts. You should definitely go. Family means everything. Jenna wanted to smile, to feel reassured by his words, but the thought of facing her family while juggling this newfound relationship weighed heavily on her. I don't know how to explain things to them. Don't overthink it. Just be honest with them about what you're feeling. About us, he encouraged, but his eyes revealed a hint of hesitation. She hesitated, pulling back a bit. Are we ready for that? I mean, it's one thing to talk about it here, but out there it feels different. Maybe, he acknowledged, his voice softening. But if we keep hiding, how do we move forward? What you're feeling matters. What we have matters. His words ignited a flicker of bravery within her, yet the uncertainty lingered. Jenna took a deep breath, the weight of anticipation heavy in the air. What if they don't accept it? What if it complicates everything? I can't speak for your family, Jack said quietly, but I know you. And right now, this matters more than anything. You and me. Just be you. His encouragement settled over her like a warm blanket, but the inherent risks loomed large. As they began outlining their strategy for the upcoming project meeting, trying to compartmentalize their own feelings, Jenna felt as if they were treading through a patchwork of fragile threads. Could her world really hold the weight of everything they were juggling? Deep in thought as they talked, she realized the stakes weren't confined to their project, they extended into their changing relationship, the intertwining of their lives. What if this gathering changed everything for them? What if it pushed them closer, or even further apart? Could they survive the scrutiny from her family? In that moment, uncertainty bubbled back up inside her. Jenna? Jack's voice cut through her thoughts, bringing her back to their plans. Are you with me? She nodded, but doubt flickered just beneath the surface. Yeah, I am. Just a lot on my mind. Jack reached out, his touch a steadying force. We'll figure it out. You can count on me. But could she count on herself to walk this path ahead? As they plotted their next moves, Jenna realized they were standing on the edge of something monumental. Would they leap into the unknown together or hesitate at the brink? Her heart raced with all that remained unspoken. What would it take for her to embrace the truth of her feelings, the truth of their choices? And could she face that family gathering and come out stronger? Their fates were intertwining faster than she had anticipated, and the moment of truth was looming ominously over them. Jenna glanced at Jack, questions swirling in her mind, uncertain if the answers lay ahead or if they were still buried in the secret corners of her heart. The day she had been both dreading and anticipating finally arrived. The sun shone brightly, casting a warm glow through the trees. As Jenna made her way to her family's gathering, she felt a mix of hope and anxiety swirling inside her. Each step towards her childhood home felt like a step into the unknown. What would her family say? Would they accept this new journey she was on with Jack? Walking through the familiar doorway, she was instantly enveloped by the sense of her mother's cooking. Laughter bubbled from the living room where her siblings were scattered, sitting on couches and sprawled on the floor, recalling old memories. Jenna smiled softly, but her heart raced as she realized that the real story she was about to share hovered just beneath the surface. "Jenna! You made it!" her mother exclaimed, wrapping her in a tight embrace. The warmth of family momentarily soothed her. "Of course. Wouldn't miss it for the world," she replied, but inside, the uncertainty weighed heavily. As the gathering unfolded, stories of the past zinged through the air, filling the space with laughter. Jenna joined in, her laughter mingling with theirs, but the shadows of her truth danced just out of reach. When the moment finally came, Jenna felt her stomach drop as she gathered her siblings in the corner of the living room. They all turned to her with their usual teasing smiles. "Okay, what's the big news?" Her sister grinned, chasing away her nerves. "We've all been waiting for you to drop a bombshell." Her brother chimed in, eyes gleaming with enthusiasm. Jenna took a deep, steadying breath. I've been working on something new," she started, the words spilling out before she could second-guess herself. "And I'm also, well, involved with someone." Her siblings exchanged meaningful glances, and before she could explain further, her sister asked, "Who's the lucky guy?" That question set her heart racing. She felt it all come rushing forth: the late-night conversations, the laughter, the shared dreams with Jack. "His name is Jack. He's been really supportive of me, especially with this new project I'm working on." Their expressions shifted, intrigue transforming into support. "What kind of project?" her brother asked. As she shared the details of her app, everything it aimed to accomplish, the purpose behind it, she could see their interest spark alive in their eyes. The pride bubbling beneath her uncertainties propelled her forward. "Wow, that sounds really great, Jenna," her sister said, beaming. "And Jack, huh? Mother's gonna want to meet him." Jenna chuckled, easing the tension. "I'd like that too, but it's complicated. I really want you all to understand where I'm coming from." Once the evening settled into comfortable conversation, she cleared her throat, feeling the weight of honesty weighing heavily on her. "Things have been hard lately, but I'm learning to stand up for myself. Jack's been there through it all." Then the inevitable question came, one she knew she'd face. "What happened with your husband?" her brother asked bluntly. The curiosity in the room was palpable, a web of support and concern woven tightly together. "It's been a journey," Jenna admitted, her chest tightening as memories flooded back. "He signed the divorce papers, but I've realized that this is about more than just him. It's about reclaiming my dreams and pursuing what's right for me. And Jack helps me want to chase that." The silence stretched as her siblings processed her words. Then her sister took her hand, squeezing it tightly. "That's brave, Jenna. We're with you, no matter what." Emotional relief flooded through Jenna. She had spent so much time worrying about their acceptance, and yet here they were, standing firmly behind her. The warmth of their support washed over her like a wave, leaving a mixture of joy and strength. As the evening drew to a close, Jenna felt a sense of clarity settling within her. She jumped at the chance to send Jack a message, eager to share the positive environment she had found at home. The next morning, Jenna and Jack met at the diner, a sacred Space filled with laughter and the rhythm of busy service. The moment she walked in and saw him behind the counter, moving with the grace that had once enchanted her, a surge of warmth enveloped her heart. "Good morning," he greeted, brightness filling his smile. "Good morning," she replied enthusiastically, feeling lighter with every passing second. Before she could hold back, she launched into the story of her family gathering, how her siblings had reacted, and the support they had shown her. Their connection deepened as they spoke, and she could see the pride in Jack's eyes as she told him about her decision to pursue her dreams. "That's incredible, Jenna," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You're really stepping into your power." And just like that, the shadows that had once clothed their relationship began to shift into light. Each step they took toward honesty and communication solidified the foundation of trust they'd been building. As they continued their day, they met with the project team to face the funding conflict head-on. Sitting at the table, Jenna spoke with confidence, her passion bubbling to the surface as she navigated their discussions. "Change is never easy," she said boldly, "but our goal is greater than any obstacle. We're building something transformative here." Jack shared her vision, amplifying her message with unwavering support. The faces around the table began to shift from skepticism to belief, and Jenna felt herself rising with each word. When they walked out of the meeting, both looking relieved and hopeful, Jack turned to her, a soft smile gracing his lips. "We made it." The enormity of what they had just accomplished washed over Jenna, and she could barely contain her excitement. "We did. I can't believe how far we've come." And in that moment, it struck her they were finally embracing both their journeys together. The path ahead wouldn't be without its struggles, but the strength she had drawn from her family and Jack solidified her resolve. "I think this is just the beginning," she said, her eyes sparkling with determination. "Absolutely," Jack replied, confidence ringing through his voice. "Whatever happens from here, we'll face it together. The weight is lighter when we lift it as a team." As they left, Jenna felt the lightness in her heart again. Their futures were intertwined now, and together they faced a world overflowing with possibilities, one where their dreams flourished alongside their connection. It was a life ready to embrace change, passion, and endless potential. For the first time in ages, Jenna truly felt alive. The storm had passed, and the horizon lay wide and bright before them. This was the moment she had waited for, because sometimes, the greatest transformations arise when you're ready to lift the veil and embrace both fear and hope, side by side. Now, as she stood hand in hand with Jack, ready to face the future, the call to action had never been clearer. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.